Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your brother in the struggle, coming right at you to ask you and to make you understand all the crazy things happening in this world. Now, before we begin, don't forget to see my links below the description. And once again, I beg of you, if you are one of the few subscribers, special subscribers to this channel, make sure that you share this message. Now remember, this whole channel is demonetized. So I'm not asking you to share this video so that my subscriber base can grow and I can start making money. No, I'm not about money. This truth is given. This truth is not sold. Okay, now, however, let us say that you decide out of your heart. Let's say that you are touched by the Holy Spirit and you decide to contribute to this, then we can work something out. But I would never, ever ask you for anything, for any donation, or sell you anything. Once again, the truth is not sold. It is given freely. Now, the question is, are you ready for the truth? I'm only here to give you the truth. And I want you to understand why, all of these things is happening, and the whys and the true agendas going on. All right? I made a video yesterday about how I had to delete it because for technical difficulties. In fact, I always make a video on the Sabbath day, which is the resting day, where God created the world. He rested on the seventh day, which is Saturday. But anyway, let us begin before I run out of time here, because I'm going to read to you some things. Then we go into the books, the Bible, because remember, this is a Bible-based channel. Okay, that's why hence the name of this channel is Truth Messenger. Okay? All right. Now, in fact, if you go to my email address, which is truthmessenger356 at gmail.com. That is my email. So if you have any comments, any questions, then you can email me at that. Again, Truth Messenger, Truth, TRUTH, Messenger. Remember, everything is together. 356 at gmail.com. But without further ado, let us get going, because time does not wait for anything. And by the way, speaking of time, we are living in the last days. Now, not the last day of this world. Not the last day, that the whole world will be destroyed. No. Leave that for the Christians, for the religions freaks out there. No, I'm not here to tell you that the world is going to end. What's going to change, what's going to be destroyed is the satanic matrix system that we're living under. Because it is ridiculous it is beyond ridiculousness what is happening nowadays, because people have been conditioned since we disobey our Creator. Remember, we have been used to this. We have given into our lower selves, into our lower nature. So this has been part of us, and we think it's okay. Okay? When in reality, what does Christ says? In fact, we're gonna go in there to, I believe it's Matthew 16, if I'm not mistaken, where he tells you what you have become, what you need to do. Because obviously we are all sinners. Hence, we die every day. Since the moment of conception in a mother's womb, we begin to die. And the more we live, the more years come by, and as time goes by, the less we are here. We have to live on this earth. Okay? Due to our disobedience. Now, do you want to become of the coming kingdom upon this earth? Which everything, by the way, on this earth belongs to the one that created it. The Creator, the great I am. Okay? Let us go. Okay? These are some of the ridiculous things that is going on. Then I'm going to make the connection, and then I'm going for some summary, and then we're going to go into the Bible. But so that's why I got to move fast. All right. Now, Planned Parenthood. Look at how ridiculous, and look how they tricking our people, especially Judah. Judah is the African Americans in the Americas and wherever they may be. Planned Parenthood has removed Margaret Sanger from their literature and writings to appease the society. Okay? Listen to this so you can understand the evolution. The evolution of all of these agendas and why are they happening. Okay? They have removed Margaret Sanger. Now, if you know, Margaret Sanger was a eugenist. A lady that thought that Hispanics, black folks, and Native Americans were subhumans. And she came up with this evolution, with this abortion idea, which, by the way, the whole world has embraced. You see what I'm talking about giving in to our lower nature and getting used to it and getting comfort with it? Well, now we are reaping the consequences, and it's only going to get worse, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. So they have removed literature and writings to appease the mass, but abortion of the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are still happening more than ever, just as they always have. Okay? Now, the people contributing to this agenda, like George Soros, Bill Gates, they must be smiling. This is their time. This is the demon's time to relish and to smile. While God's people are going to Jacob's Jacob's troubles right now, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, our people are suffering. Now, remember, Margaret Sanger, she was a eugenist. She once attended a KKK rally talking about the elimination of us. See, war has always been declared on us by the demons that moves to society's leaders, politicians, and governors. That's how they control the masses. That's how the demons make sure that God's people always suffer, and that this truth is attacked, censored, and completely removed. So here we go. Number 2, university called, I believe it's Prague University, has lowered their standards on their side to make it easier. Listen to this, just for black folks to make it in the academic world. So in other words, they are lowering their standards. So what they basically telling us is that, hey, black people, Hispanic people, but just for blacks, we don't have anything. We know you're stupid. You don't know any better. So we're going to lower their standard to appease, to make you understand that there's no systematic, that indeed there have been a systematic racism. I have explained to you many times over that racism is nothing but a distraction word. It's a psychological word. Okay. Number 3, the sports world, the NFL, the NBA, racing, the NHL, which is hockey, baseball, etc., are kneeling to appease what? Black Lives Matter. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let us be logical for 1 second here. By you pushing the concept of Black Lives Matter, doesn't that constitute racism right there? When in reality, all human life matters. All lives matter. Ever since we were created, ever since we were put on this earth by our Creator. I mean, God didn't say, oh, only black people, Black Lives Matter, or only Chinese Black Lives Matter, Chinese lives matter, or Hispanics lives matter. No, everyone. But the purpose of this thing is that these people, these leaders in our society have psychological worked out people to bring divisions, to divide the masses. You understand? It's a whole psychological game that has worked to perfection. So all the sports world, okay, all of the sports world, they are controlled by these demons. In fact, for instance, you can take a look at baseball. It is in the shape of a diamond. What does that tell you? These people always push the pyramid. The one on top are the 33rd degree legionnaires, 33rd degree Masons that controls everything. We live in a Masonic order world. Whether you want to believe it, whether you want to accept it or not. And if you don't understand it, please do your research. And they control everything. Your media. Yes, CNN, MSNBC, Fox. In fact, Fox, if you look at it, at the value of the name, Fox means 666. Ladies and gentlemen, please. They control Hollywood. They control the sport. They control big pharma. They control the military complex. They play with political games, making people believe that they have power. Oh, vote. I approve this message. No, your vote does not count. Please do your research. In fact, let me just prove it to you. And now I don't vote at all, because God's soldiers, we don't become part of men's affairs. We don't get involved in men's affairs. We just obey their laws as long as it doesn't interfere with our relationship with our Creator. So here we go. In fact, speaking of the sport, the Redskins changed their name to appease the Black Lives Matter movement. Okay? When no Native Americans have expressed anything to the... In fact, the Redskins were known as warriors. And that name, that term, that native that was given to this NFL football team called the Redskins, it was given to them by a Native Americans. It was a form of admiration. They were called warriors. It was a group of Native Americans that fought. McDonald's is in this game too. McDonald's, right? a 21 billion company with all of its chains throughout the United States. And what do they sell? They sell, believe it or not, and again, I'm going to send you a link, probably if I find it, where they admit that they put aborted baby's meat into your hamburger. They say they sell junk. You understand? To make our people sick. Popeyes, Wendy's, Arby's, Checkers, Sonic, you name it. All of those franchises are in this game. So it is a good customer strategy for them to make it easier to appease Black Lives Matter. But hey, this world is so messed up. The co-founders of Black Lives Matter have admitted on video that they are trained Marxists. Marxists who have cost the lives of hundreds of millions of lives throughout its history. And by the way, the same people that came up with the Marxist ideology, with the communism ideology, with the socialism ideology, with the capitalism ideology, with the Nazism ideology, they control the same thing. It's the same people that control all of them. In fact, and I want you to do your research on this as well, Prescott Bush, George Bush's grandfather. Remember the former president before Barack Obama? George Bush, the one that gave us 9/11. Yeah, he wasn't Osama bin Laden. I prove everything here. I told you, do your research on Tim Osman. Tim Osman was a CIA agent working for the CIA. But that's what they used him. 2 hours after the towers came down, 2 hours after the terrorist attack, they blame it on Bin Laden. Ladies and gentlemen, please, don't you know? Don't you see that we have been worked? We have been lied to. Let's keep going. 5. Aunt Jemima, Land O'Lakes products to appease the Negroes and the Native Americans. Ladies and gentlemen, please. This makes me want to puke. 6. Prisoners are being let out of jail in record numbers to appease the Black Lives Matter movement, using the pandemic as an excuse. While the churches, which they control, because remember the churches, the religions actually have made a deal with the government. Do not get it twisted, ladies and gentlemen. I told you to do your research on 501c3. These people don't pay taxes. And it is not because they are Ruben, but they are humanitarian organization. They are, what's the word I'm looking for? That's why they don't pay taxes, because they help humanity. They help people. Yeah, blah blah blah. I forgot the word, but anyway. So they have laughed. They are flexing their muscles, and they have closed down gyms, churches. They have flexed their muscles, ladies and gentlemen. They love this power trip that they're under. Well, I'm asking them. I'm telling them, please enjoy this power trip that you're on, because it's not going to last. Let's keep going. Number 7, systematic racism has been declared a national emergency. Are you freaking kidding me? What did I say? Racism is nothing but a byword. It's nothing but a distraction. How come it wasn't declared? Oh, because this cop that killed George Floyd? Ladies and gentlemen, Do you see what's going on here? They have been lying. They are lying. They are lulling God's people to sleep. They have and are conditioning the mass to self-destruct in the name of this supposedly good causes. Let me just tell you, back in the past, a fire was started back in Rome by the Emperor NERO and blamed it on God's people. Okay? It was blamed on God's people. False flag. But the thing is that it did happen. It did happen, ladies and gentlemen. But this dude, he was blamed. Nero was being blamed for it because he was having a party. He was like, he didn't care. And then our people were hunted down by like animals, and we were killed and imprisoned. See? So you understand? Do you see where I'm coming from? False flag have always been played on us. It's psychological conditioning. So, the same thing is happening with the so-called pandemic. To blame it on black and Hispanic for not cooperating with mask wearing and vaccines. In fact, it was kind of tried already in Oregon. It came on the news, remember? Allowing blacks to be without a mask due to stereotyping. Allowing black folks, hey, you don't have to wear a mask, but then you know why? But it seems that they were told to walk back by the demons, okay, for exposing what they already have planned. But since we are here like fools protesting and killing each other, we don't see it. This has been a total psychological operation, and the demons have done a great job. Number two, George Floyd's death was a planned event. George was the sacrifice for the riots and the bloodshed that will follow it. 2. California forced its citizens to mask up from the get-go of this pandemic, and it went on lockdown, and it obviously didn't work. I mean, do you know why? Because it has been a big game playing on America all along. I mean, have you looked at the news lately? That California has surpassed in the numbers. The numbers, by the way, are being controlled. It's all a game. Don't believe the numbers. Number 3, the Muslim women have always been covered from head to toe. In fact, some sects, I believe the Shiites, can only show their eyes, and they got the coronavirus. In fact, Iran said that they have 25 million people infected. You see, it is a game. How can a country, how can a virus move so fast with the same game plan, with the same agenda, affect the whole world? Because you got to understand, places like the Philippines, Europe, these people control those islands, and like the Philippines and Latin America, because they got businesses up in there. And they are telling the government, hey, we're going to pull back unless you restrict and imprison people if they're not obeying with the mask and, with the and the numbers, and you got to bring the numbers up for the coronavirus. So they have exploited our people's weaknesses. And do you know why? The Muslim women in the Muslim world have been getting the virus, because the whole world has been plagued and paralyzed by fear. They know how the psychological effect and the emotional effect that it has on the human mind. Fear of dying, and those that would save their life should lose it. Okay, it's in the Bible, ladies and gentlemen. We are presently living in a ridiculous, illogical, demon-possessed world. Don't believe me? Well, then look at your leaders like Andrew Cuomo in New York, the biggest mass murder in that city's history. But now he's being praised. Oh, they did a great job. Yeah. Wheeler in Portland. And that main lady in Chicago, look at Pelosi, look at the governor of California. Oh my. The reality is that in order for the new world order to be implemented, America has to fall. Don't fall with heart, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, let me give you some statistics to how they're playing us. An old man, and that is been in the news, an old man was shot in the head and the government listed him as dying from the coronavirus. A young man was killed in a motorcycle accident in Florida and he was listed as dying from the coronavirus. So the reality is that we are being played due to economic and political agendas while conditioning society to accept the DNA altering vaccine which is coming. The DNA which is full of aborted babies' parts. Let me just give you the how this all of this went down, and they don't want to let go. First came the virus, then the lockdown, then George Floyd's death, then the riots, vandalism, the protests, number 5, the mandatory mask wearing. Then number 6, the companies, Hollywood, and the sport complex came with their support. So you understand, it has always been a game. Now, let me see if I have enough time to read you some of these verses. Let us go to Peter, 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. First Peter chapter 5 verse 8 says, verse 8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Now quickly let's go to Hebrews. Hebrews 9. Hebrews chapter 9. Verse 27. And it is appointed unto man once to die, but after this, the judgment. So you see, there's no reincarnation, ladies and gentlemen. Once we die, we are put to sleep until God comes to judge, because the living and the dead shall be judged for the final countdown. Now let us go to Revelation 18. But let us go to, I don't know if I'm going to have enough time. So if the video stops, you know why. Chapter 16. Matthew chapter 16. Chapter 16, verse 25. For whosoever would save his life shall lose it, and whosoever would lose his life for my sake shall find it. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, the reality is that we are living in. And then chapter 18, Revelation chapter 18, God is asking his people to please. Revelation chapter 18, verse 4, where God is saying, asking his people to please come out of her, my people, so that you don't suffer the part of the plagues. Yeah, this whole world is coming down. First, it's going to go by. It's going to be gradually. First, New York is going to go down, because that's what the money. When the dollar is about to collapse, New York is got to be attacked and it's got to go down. And then after this, the whole economy, U.S. economy, will collapse. By the way, Donald Trump is very well aware of this, because he was put there by the shadow government that you are not even aware. That they tell you that it is a conspiracy theory. By the way, the word conspiracy was invented in the 60s, was pushed by the CIA. So that we over here telling you the truth will be considered crazy, lunatic, conspiracy theorists. But there's no conspiracy theories when it comes to the Word of God. We show you the truth and nothing but the truth. And they shall know the truth, like it says in John 8, verse 32. And they shall know the truth, and the truth shall make them free. And another thing that Christ taught us is that we should deny ourselves and take up the cross and follow him. So we gotta shed the skin. We gotta shed not just the skin, but the inside of us, and follow him, following the 10 commandments. We are in a spiritual war, ladies and gentlemen, whether you want to believe it or not. This is not about believing in God or not believing. Oh, do you believe in God? You believe in God? No, it's not about belief. God doesn't care whether you believe in him or not. It is accepting the reality that you have God in you, within you. And you must pray to the God, to the great I am that's in heaven. Come out of this psychological bewitching that this whole world is under, living under the spell. No, I haven't forgotten my Spanish subscribers out there. Don't worry, I'm coming at you. Yo voy a hacer video en español también.